Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got kind of a weird top 10 knife list to share with you guys. We are in what I kind of feel like is a dry spell in the knife world. There's lots of stuff out there to buy. There's lots of really popular stuff out there that's still really interesting, but it's kind of a lot of the same stuff that we have been seeing. I review a lot of knives. There's a lot of stuff that's come across my table that I've thought was really great. But I know that a lot of you are kind of like, a lot of people are waiting, like, when are Hinder is going to come back in stock? When are certain Spyderco is going to come back in stock, right? I don't know. But there's a lot of other stuff out there that I think is really great that some of you might have missed out on, or maybe you're aware of it and it just deserves a second look. So I've put together a list of 10 knives that I really liked after having reviewed them. Yes, you can go back and watch the original reviews. But stuff that I really like that I think maybe if you're like trying to experience something new, maybe you should give these another look. Thanks so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. There's a link for Patreon right down below, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. I will link all of these right down below because all of them are knives you can actually go buy, right? I know you guys get upset when I do top 10 lists and knives are unavailable, right? I've made sure that all of these are available. So, starting off here, with one that some of you will be familiar with, some of you not, the Spyderco Polestar. This is my new favorite introductory level Spyderco, and I think it might still be interesting to those of you who have experienced lots of Spyderco knives and have maybe moved on. This has a wonderful overall design, easy access to the liner lock, easy access to the opening hole. I think the look of it is really good. I think it's one of the less offensive looking Spydercos. The CTS BD1 steel is okay, right? It's certainly better than the 8CR13 MOV that Spyderco puts on their $50, $60, $70. No, pass. The Polestar is way better. It's a little more expensive, but not anything absolutely crazy. It's very near what I would call a budget knife. And by the way, we're kind of going with some of the less expensive stuff first, then some of the mid-range, then some of the higher end, and some of the really expensive stuff towards the end of the list, right? But yeah, if you've not given the Spyderco Polestar a chance, I love this knife. This is really good, and honestly, I thought it was going to be kind of boring, and it turned out to be my very favorite. I mean, if you've never experienced a Spyderco knife ever, this is like the perfect one to start with. Absolutely very recommendable. Moving on here, a knife that I've actually got. Now, this is a knife that a lot of people are aware of. I just think it got kind of overshadowed. That's the Savavi Badlands Vagabond. Basically the thumb stud version of the Savavi Ortis, which I hailed as probably one of the greatest budget knives of all time. The Vagabond is essentially the same thing. It's just a drop point blade instead of a clip point blade, and it's a thumb stud opener instead of the opening slot. This is a super duper inexpensive knife. For those of you looking for a budget beater, maybe a backup knife, or maybe it's your first EDC knife, right? If you don't like the thumb slot thing or clip point blades, which, you know, I completely understand, try this version. It's nearly flawless. Perhaps maybe a little bit too small of a forward choil, right? The pocket clips, the gooseneck pocket clips are not my favorite thing on Savavi, but other than that, oh my gosh, these are incredible. What are they? 40 bucks, 45 bucks? Easily one of the best budget knives out there, and I think it's just I don't even know if the Ortis is really all that popular, but this guy got overshadowed. This is an unsung hero of the budget knife world, right? If you've heard of it and never, gave it a second glance, give it another glance, right? If you've never heard of it, this is extremely recommendable. Easy flipping action, running on bearings, right? Super thin behind the edge, and there's a few flavors, right? When I say flavors, I mean don't eat your knife. Don't taste your knife. I mean different colors, right? Yeah, absolutely. Check that one out. Very cool. Moving on here. This is a super underrated knife. The CRKT bonafide, specifically the D2 versions. Now, a lot of people go and look at this and they go, $100 for D2? No! Like, that's what people do, right? Okay. but this has that field strip technology and arguably the very best version of the field strip technology. I'll try to insert a clip here of me doing that. It's literally, you slide the switch over to the unlock position on the scales and it comes apart. That's super cool. That by itself right there is worth some extra money. I know people don't like to see D2 steel up there at the $100 mark, but yeah, I would definitely buy this knife. Absolutely. We've got aluminum scales, and if those of you wondering when it's back together, is it really that sturdy? Would I accidentally slip and unlock it and the knife would fly apart and explode into a million pieces while I'm using it? No, there's no way. The way that switch is set, you'd have to be intentionally trying to unlock it while you're using it. That thing is solid. The action is good. It's amazing. The overall fit and finish, honestly, for Columbia River Knife and Tool, which they've been stepping up their game. This is really good. Check out my review if you want to, but I love this knife. It's really cool, and it's a good size, too. Couple of quirks, but, I mean, you know, as far as interesting things out there, which it's kind of scarce right now, this is cool, and it can be had for right around $100. Really like that one. Moving on here, this is a staple. There's a bunch of different reasons that I think a lot of people should try this. Number one, it's just a fantastic design, and that's the Spyderco Sage 1 in Maximate, right? If you're a little more familiar with Spyderco and you're looking to step it up, and maybe you're looking to try out some Maximate, which if you don't know, here recently I just did a review of Maximate steel after 2.5 years of using it. Maximate steel, if you don't live around or near or in the ocean, it's unbelievable, right? It's gonna patina. You can slow that down by, unless you want to just let it patina, it's fine. The patina looks great, right? If you want to slow that down, just oil it up with some brake free or frog lube or whatever it is that you use. Maximate steel has incredible edge retention, not that bad to touch up, and is plenty tough considering it's got edge retention levels that surpass S110V when properly heat treated, right? The Sage 1 is probably the best Spyderco design, in my opinion. The Sage 5 has the compression lock. If the Sage 1 had the compression lock, it would be the greatest, like with Maximate and G10, it would be like all-time favorite, right? Sage 5, probably all around a little better because of the compression lock, but this is a well-done liner lock. It looks good. It's got G10 scales, Maximate steel. Yeah, it's $200, but God, man, in my experience, Maximate, I have not had to actually sharpen my Maximate blades. Now, obviously, if you're going out and beating on your knives and you're using them to cut up shingles every day, you're going to be resharpening it, right? But for general EDC, just cutting open packages here and there, Maximate is incredible. This is one of the best knives, arguably the best knife in Spyderco's line that you can get in Maximate. And Spyderco, as far as I know, is the only company using Maximate. So, is it expensive? Yes, but it's less expensive than the Para 3 and PM2 variants in Maximate. And it's just a little bit more than the Manix 2 lightweight in Maximate. I think this is the best. This is really great. And the overall look of this thing is awesome, really straightforward, sort of just utilitarian EDC design. Oh, give this one another look. I know, $200 for G10, right? But it's that Maximate and that blade. Oh, it's so good. Seriously, check it out. Moving on here, this is a fixed blade. I think this is definitely underrated right now. I've got it here on the table. This is the Hog Ritter RSK Mark III G2 or Gen 2. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This is one of the most ideal fixed blade designs that I have ever seen, and it comes in S45VN. It is the fixed version of the legendary Hog Ritter or RSK Mark II G10, Gen 2. The codes, right? Excellent. Excellent fixed blade design. $190, $195, something like that. I think it's worth it, right? It's more than the folding knife, but again, as I said in the review, you guys got to remember the folding knife is in unbelievable territory when it comes to pricing. The folder is $160, right? That's unbelievable. That folder could be $190 or $200 and people would still beat down doors to get it, right? So the fixed blade, I can't really argue too much, right? I think this is one of the most, some people obviously are going to need a longer blade, but you have a lot of blade, nice and thin and plenty robust out to the tip, right? Excellent texturing on the scales. This is an American-made knife as well. Really, really good and super unsung and underrated right now. Obviously designed by the legendary Hog Ritter. Where can you get it? It's a KnifeWorks exclusive, but don't worry, I will be linking it right down in the description. Moving on here, talk about underrated, right? A lot of this just sounds like underrated knives. It's a mix of underrated knives or unsung knives or knives that maybe just deserve a second look, right? This is definitely underrated. The Adam Purvis Zerks Integral. Yes, you can still get this. There are, I think Fanatic Edge has some interesting ones. This is a M390 and titanium integral that you can get for, I believe, $350 to $380 unless you're getting some crazy custom version of it from Fanatic Edge, or customized. I shouldn't say custom, customized. Totally worth it. It's one of the least expensive integrals on the market that's actually a good design. The original Zerks was one of my favorite knives of, I think it was one of my favorite knives of 2020. Definitely one of my favorite knives of all time. It's on that playlist. This is so cool. You can get it with the slots, or you can get it with no slots, right? No holes in the back. It's got that aggressive harpoon blade. Yeah, there's really not a lot of... The only downside to this is that it's expensive, but again, for an integral or handle made of one solid piece of titanium, it's not sandwich construction. It's literally carved from a single piece of titanium. Holy crap! This is great. Really, really good, and definitely an unsung hero right now. In a dry spell, right? For those of you who are spending a little bit more, like if you're getting into the higher end production knives, you know, if you're itching to buy something cool and you've been waiting on a lot of those really popular, expensive models to come back in stock, this is worth a look. This is worth a look. Absolutely. Moving on here, another one that I actually have here. Oh my gosh. The Heretic Manticore X OTF. This is one of the best looking OTF knives that I have ever seen. This is the larger guy. It's about the same size as the Microtech Combat Troodon. Fires easily just as hard. I dare say harder than my Combat Troodon. Possibly approaching my Scarab. We're looking at, as far as I remember, this one is CPM S35, and I believe they also use LMAX. This is an American-made OTF. We have aircraft aluminum, or 6061 T6 aircraft aluminum. Somebody laughed at me there. Oh, aircraft. That's literally what it is. That's literally what it's called. 6061 T6 is an aircraft grade of aluminum. I'm sure that there are many types. Definitely hardcore, definitely the stuff that you see on ProTech and Microtech, Hogue, etc., right? The G10 switch on this guy is really, really cool too. These come in a variety of different, you know, colors and setups and things like that. But yeah, super handsome and really high quality. The blade play on this thing is almost nothing. Really, really cool. It's also very competitively priced. This is more expensive than an Ultratech, but way less expensive than a Combat Troodon. The only real difference is going to be in the blade steel, right? Instead of 204P in a Microtech, you're going to be getting S35EN or likely LMAX from what I've seen. These are definitely available. S35EN or I would prefer LMAX. Yeah, no problem for what they're asking. We are in kind of Guardian Tactical Recon 40 price territory, which is insanely competitive for an American OTF. Yes, these are going to be illegal in a lot of places, especially this one. Big knife, automatic knife, dagger ground knife, right? But if you live in an area like me, like Kansas, where all of that's totally fine, yeah, check this out. Absolutely. Next one up, another OTF that you can actually get right now. Not as well priced as its Recon 40 brother, but speaking of Guardian Tactical, the Recon Elite. Now, I was a little bit kind of like, wow, the grind is really aggressive, right? Here's the cool thing with this. This is gigantic. It is the biggest OTF that I have ever handled. Its counterpart, the Recon 40, is basically the same thing without the crazy grind and the crazy graphics, right? But it's priced... Even this one is still priced, like its only main competitor is going to be like the Recon 40 or the Manticore X. This is a $450 OTF, but has that really cool bearing switch that is easily smoother than it. Guardian Tactical's firing switch is the smoothest, easiest to operate on the market, period. This is a US-made OTF. Absolutely fires as hard or harder. I'm kind of leaning on harder than the Scarab 2. This is the hardest firing double action OTF that I have ever handled. Again, alongside the Recon 40. You can get these right now. The grind is crazy. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. But oh my gosh, is it high quality. So just remember, you know, if you've been trying to seek out a Scarab 2, right? Even when you find one, they're going to be $525. They're cool. I own one. But after handling the Recon 40 and Recon Elite, I'm kind of like, I think the Recon 40 and Elite are better deals. Even with the Elite being $75 more, or ish, $70 more than the Recon 40. The Recon Elite's incredible. Check it out. It's awesome. If you've been trying to scratch that OTF itch and you want an American-made product, yeah, Recon Elite, you can get them. Moving on here to the more expensive stuff. Two much more expensive items, right? We're going to start off here with the Shirogorov. Number 9, second to last, is going to be the Shirogorov F3NL or NS. This is, in my opinion, the greatest Shirogorov knife that has ever been made. And I came to that conclusion not of my own accord, right, but by constantly this was being suggested by Epic Snuggle Bunny and Levon of the Knife Nuts podcast multiple times. And they both said, yeah, this is, and I think even Dr. Funky told me this is like the greatest, maybe it was Dr. Funky and not Snuggle Bunny. I'm sorry if I, said that incorrectly. Yeah. And I finally got to handle mine. Unfortunately, mine had to go back for sharpening, which is really, that's kind of a blue moon scenario, right? No big deal. But my other Shirogorovs and every other Shirogorov I've ever handled has been glass edge sharp, right? So I wouldn't worry about that. The F3NL is LMAX and micarta, or some of them are G10. They run on single row bearings and are still unbelievably smooth. Incredible quality, very good look. There's a few different flavors out there. The F3, did I say? I'm sorry, the F3NL is LMAX and either G10 or micarta. And then the F3NS is your M390 and your carbon plate, not regular carbon fiber. This is super high-end carbon fiber or carbon plate. Wonderful. $700 for the LMAX variant, $900 for the carbon plate and M390 variant. That's a lot of money. And I know that I've lost 95% of my audience at this point, right? But for those of you seeking out a really nice knife in that sort of $600 to $1,000 territory, look no further. Well, you can look slightly further with number 10, but these are really good. You can't go wrong with Shirogorov in general, but if you want to know dollar for dollar which Shirogorov I think is the most worth it, the F3. Oh my gosh. Highly, highly recommendable. And with the NS, you do get that new swedge and jimping and I believe a slightly different pocket clip. No, maybe it's the backspacer a little different. Wish I had mine here. I'd show you. Wonderful. Wonderful. You can find these at Recon Elite and Knife Center. I will link them right down below. Moving on here to the final one, number 10. I have become so locked in on this company. They came out of nowhere. It is unreal. The wide variety and the range of, the pricing range and the variety of quality that you can get from Herman Knives. Just about anything from Herman Knives is recommendable. You can only get these knives from Polish Custom Knives right now. I've reviewed 3 of them. They were all unbelievable in terms of quality. They use top-notch materials, excellent overall fit and finish and quality. We're talking Shirogorov level quality. If you want to spend $600 on a knife, they've got models like the Ishtar, Ovium, Slim, and Sting that are available right now in the $600 to $800 territory. If you want those, but you want them in crazy materials like Timascus and Damasteel or Damacor, you can get them. And they're constantly putting new things on the Polish Custom Knives website. If you are, in the 1% or less than 1%, that's looking for a multi-$1,000 knife that's really, really high quality, Herman Knives. If you want the same level of overall fit and finish and quality, but you just don't want to spend multiple thousands, you're looking at maybe $600 to $700. Yeah, same kind of thing. You're going to be happy with them. Go back and watch my reviews. Check out my stuff. Herman Knives, extremely recommendable. Links right down in the description. Guys, that's going to end the video there. I hope some people got this right. I was trying to, I didn't want to say like these are knives that nobody knows about. It's just, this is a kind of a dull, excuse the knife pun, it's a duller period in the knife world in terms of popular models being, they're like really popular stuff is just really unavailable, right? A lot of the stuff that people really, really want. And it's, I've complained, like there's nothing to buy, but there are things to buy, right? It's just stuff that I think, some people might just need to roll the dice on, and these are all worth it. I hope you guys found something that was at least mildly interesting in this video. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex and subscribe because we're coming up on 60,000 subscribers and I've got an awesome giveaway to do. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.